Another fun 12 personnel under center mini scheme for you guys. This one is out of the Buccaneers playbook and is probably one of the best big play formations in the entire game. We'll go over 4 verticals right here. We'll go over PA wide drag wheel, under, and we'll briefly touch on the jet plays as well. I've been using this formation in a custom book, so I was able to get a stretch and dive combo in the scheme as well. Unfortunately, the Saints version of this formation is the only one with stretch, and it doesn't really have any of the nice passing plays. So if you're playing Madden Ultimate Team, Bucks is definitely the book to use. And anyway, we'll get started with 4 verticals against cover 3 sky. So right away, what I really like this formation for is against single high defenses, so your cover 3s, cover 1s, though we have a lot of setups against a lot of different things. And what we're gonna do is set the wide receivers to the field. So we want a lot of space to work with for these guys, and that'll be the same with every setup that I show you in this video. If I see the single high, right away I'm gonna audible to 4 verticals here, and what I will do, there's really only one adjustment, is just put Fuller here, or your inside wide receiver, on just a streak, so he'll be able to attack that seam a little bit better. And that's all you really need to do. You can block the running back if you'd like. This wheel fade route from Hopkins here is going to hold that cornerback a little bit. This seam route from Akins here is going to hold that safety a little bit, and you should be able to hit him up the seam with your inside wide receiver here, assuming, well, he doesn't even need a little too much speed, but you know, if you have speed, it's nice. So that's a nice, easy one-play score against cover 3. So what's great about this is that it'll work against really any adjustment that they throw at you. So whether it's, you know, shading up, shading down, protecting the sticks, even if they put an outside quarter there and any sort of combination of all of them, you're going to be good. You're still going to get free for that one-play score. The only thing is that other than, you know, perhaps checking to a different coverage entirely or maybe manning some guys up, is that if they put a deep half out there, so a deep half will do a much better job of defending that seam route. And you'll see that, you know, even 5-15 yards down the field, you'll see that he's much tighter. But what's good is that this wheel fade from your outside wide receiver is going to get open. So assuming you can wait in the pocket just a little bit for him to clear that flat defender, you can throw that past him and get free. So just like this and just like that. Now you do have a defender that can click on, but if you throw a low ball, you're going to be much better against that. So you see you have much more space. Either way, you should be able to fit that in. So yeah, I love that. When I see single high, immediately I'm going to 4 verticals. I'm hitting that seam route, and usually I can hit them once, maybe twice a game for that one-play score. Or if they adjust to that deep half, I can hit them outside with that wheel. The other thing is that if you perhaps want an option on the right side, if things kind of break down a little bit. So say if you have a user is over here and then he decides to run with one of those routes, then you probably want something to check down on. So what I would do is I would just put the outside tight end on just an in. And let me just get off of this guy. So what that'll do is, other than giving you an option on the other side, kind of like a drag, that you can just hit underneath for 5 yards, easy 5 yards, it'll also bring down that linebacker, and you can hit this seam route over here. So that's an option for you as well if you want it. But yeah, by and large, you're going to be hitting that seamer or that wheel. But yeah, the check down's there for you. Now, what's great about this is that you also have some options against cover 1. So I'm actually just going to go straight to cover 0 because the same things are going to kind of apply here. So I'm just not even going to kind of think about cover 1. We'll just go cover 0 right here. And I will show you that we're going to come out in the same play, but these wheel routes, these fade routes, are going to get nicely open. Okay, so what we can do is, if we see this heavy blitz pressure here, we can of course block the running back. We can put the tight end on a check release to get that extra blocker without initiating the green dog blitzes. We can do the same thing over here. We can put this guy on a vertical, or we can put him on a drag, whatever we want. But you'll see that both Hopkins and Fells are able to get open here. So first thing I'll show you here is how Hopkins will burn his man, right? And so you can throw that forward pass lead. If you had a drag there, that would have been a touchdown. Now over on the right side here, you probably won't get a one-play score here, but you will have some nice options here. The cornerback just totally bugs out. You throw an inside pass lead and you can rack that up the field. If you're faster at tight end, you could do much better than that. And I should show press coverage as well. So these guys will press down. Of course, this wheel route is unbumpable, so that's going to be nice. If you're playing against somebody that's in 3-4 odd or any of those base formations, what's nice is that the corners are going to line up on the left side and the safeties are going to line up on the right side. So these tight ends can't get blocked. Sorry, they can't get jammed. So you could even put one of them on a drag route and he'll get free across the field, or whatever you want. I mean, you can leave Fells over here. He's going to get open because the cornerback's going to get bugged. You can put him on a drag route if you want. And then, of course, this wheel route here is going to get open. Hopefully we don't overthrow that. And we are free for our easy one-play score. So really nice stuff here. Now, what's cool about the wheel is that, you know, even against these heavy zone blitz guys that will say, you know, put this guy on a quarter just so they don't get beat by that wheel route, or, you know, maybe they'll leave this guy in man coverage, or maybe they'll put him, you know, in a hook here to, or maybe they'll leave him here. I don't know what they would do. It's nice as a quick throw option as well. So if you see that cornerback doesn't come in on man coverage, you can just go ahead and throw that right here. You know, rack catch that, maybe make a miss, get at least 10 easy yards right there. So yeah, really, in my opinion, one of the best formations against man coverage, just because you have so many of those nice unbumpable routes. You know, the guy on the left, the guy on the right, you have some tight ends on the line of scrimmage that can't get bumped, that you can drag them across the formation. So it's a lot of really, really good stuff. And then, you know, even, you know, over here, you can put this guy on this unbumpable hitch over here, just as another option on top of all that. So a lot of good stuff. Cover 2, you know, it might not be the best thing. So if you see that cornerback 5 yards off the ball over here on the left side, actually a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll just audible to the halfback dive, because, you know, especially against those, you know, those dollar cover 2 blitz setups, you know, if you have this heavy 12 personnel and, you know, running halfback dive right up the gut, you're going to get, you know, a huge, you know, at least a 10-yard gain. But, you know, say a 3-4 odd cover 2 or something like that, it's still a good option because it's just a weak run defense in the middle of the field, especially if they're putting that deep third middle linebacker. But if you do want to throw against it, you can potentially, you know, motion this guy out, and that'll kind of mix in a little bit with some of the other things we like to do. You could also just do that as some, you know, window dressing if you want to run the halfback dive or whatever. What you'll do is motion him outside, and you will flat the inside guy. Block the running back again if you want a little bit more time in the pocket. Wait for him to clear. Throw that outside. Toe tap, and you got yourself easy 20-30 yards. So yeah, that's 4 verticals. We are great against cover 3. We got some options for one-play scores. We got some options for big gains down the sideline. And we got some nice check down options as well. Cover 0 stands absolutely no chance. Any sort of man coverage stands no chance at all. And then you got a nice little option for cover 2 as well. And we'll move on to PA wide drag wheel. So I didn't show you 4 verticals against cover 4 drop show 2, namely because it really isn't good against it. But we do have some other options, and we have PA wide drag wheel as one of these. And this is kind of a really interesting play because it has a number of routes that we can get, we can throw to for big gains. And you really don't see it that often. So you have some options here. Number one thing we're going to show you is just motion this guy out. So similar to what we showed you with the cover 2 with the 4 verticals, just motioning him out, getting the crosser out of the play for now. So we can do like a drag here as a nice little check down, but also just to get out of the way. And you can see here, we can take this over the top. Gets over the top of the safety here, forward pass lead, and we got a nice one-play score against that. So we have some other options right here, so we can leave everything as is, and we can target this crosser route. So this is nice if you are able to run a little bit of halfback dive or a little bit of the inside zone from this playbook, and just to hold that linebacker, the user linebacker a little bit, so that crosser can come across him and we don't have to worry about him. So just hold him for a little bit, and then we can come out here, wait for him to pass that guy, toe tap that, and we got a nice big gain down the sideline on the other side of the field. And as you'll notice here, I picked the Texans here, which have Deshaun Watson with Escape Artist, which with this bootleg works really, really nicely. You know, if that thing gets covered, you could even just scramble that up the field for a few yards. Or, you know, if you see that crosser open, coming over here, wait for him to cross, toe tap, nice big yard. And if you want to hit the other side of the field, you can, again, motion this guy out, put him on a streak here. What this allows you to do is get options to the right and to the left. So if you go to the right and, you know, the user is able to cover that crosser really well, if you have a little bit of patience, you can throw it across the field, just like this, and just like that. So a really underrated option. Now you do need some time in the pocket, but what's nice against cover 4 drop show 2, it is a 3-man pass rush, so it isn't really any good. And even though they have these contains on, you know, I'm sure there's better ways you can do it, putting those guys on spies or spreading the line a little bit. They're not able to get out just because of the alignment of this formation. The outside tight end helps out a little bit, and so you are able to get out of the pocket for the potential scramble, or just for a little bit more time for that crossing route, or for a little bit more time for that route all the way across the field. So a lot of really cool options here that you can build off of a zone running game. Cover 3. So say if you hit them on the left side a few times with the seam route and the wheel route, the fade route, and they start to do a few adjustments to that side to lock things down. Well, you do have some options to the right side as well, again with this PAY drag wheel. What's going to be nice about this is that the cornerback to the boundary here is going to cover the crosser, although he doesn't actually even do that well. And you should be able to get free over the top with that post route. So again, going to come all the way across here. You could even scramble here, or you can just throw that forward pass lead. Again, one play, easy score. And again, you can even throw that crosser just because the cornerback really doesn't do a good job of covering it. You can just wait for him to cross him, toe tap, again, a big play. And what's nice about this is that it's a quick option, right? You don't have any audibles really to do, especially against cover 3, any sort of adjustments to do. So, they're kind of scrambling, getting all their adjustments in, but you're just immediately quick hiking. If anything isn't there, likely the crosser, the post is going to be there, or if you have, a fast quarterback, just run that in for a nice easy first down. Where the crosser is actually important is that, say if you've hit him to the left a couple times, you hit him with the post over to the right, they will put those deep halves out there if they're smart. Actually, at this point, they might totally check out of cover 3 altogether. But if they're stubborn, or if they just do this naturally, that post is going to get covered. So that this is where that crosser is actually important, because it does give you that option over here. So he's going to get much more open here. Again, toe tap that. You also have the option, though it's probably not as good of an option, but a nice little mix up here is that, again, you can hit the backside tight end over here, but you will have to motion this guy and get rid of your post route. So that's not ideal, but you do have the crosser who's going to get open. And then if you have a little bit of time, you will have that tight end as well. So just wait. Across the field, toe tap. Again, another option. Against cover 2, again, assuming you can catch the user, you're going to have a lot more space to throw that crosser, and you can potentially turn that upfield for that score. So against cover 2, I mean, that crosser is great, but the tight end crossing route doesn't do a really good job. You can get it open if you drag this tight end, but then you just have a little bit less time in the pocket here, and that outside linebacker or that outside defensive end has a chance of getting in. I can show you here, likely I'm going to get sacked. Well, not really. I had some time in the pocket there. I was able to throw that. So it's an option. I don't think it's the greatest, but it's an option. So the play under is your more sensible progression read type of play. So it's not all about shot plays in this. It's going to be mixed in with some run plays, and again, this play. So this corner route is going to get open nicely against man coverage. So if that play for verticals wasn't good enough for you, you do have an option here. It's better if you have a corner specialist. If things break down, you can still throw that up. But yeah, it's going to be nice. Just make sure you throw it before the break with an outside pass lead. He's going to get a nice 5 yards of separation. You can potentially outrun this guy. I mean, Talib's quite slow compared to Fuller, but even if he's same speed. But the setup against actual zone coverage here is you would wheel the running back. So because the wide receivers are set to the field, he's going to go to their side. Okay, but that's what we want, because that's going to hold the flat route a little bit. We're going to have the drag route here that we keep. Akins, you can either block him if you want a little bit more protection because the running back is in the route now, or you can put him on a vertical here. That adds some kind of spacing a little bit for us. Against cover 3, that wheel route is going to bring that flat defender down, and we can throw this right here. Now, the deep third actually does a good job there. But again, if you are already hitting these guys with these deep shot plays, they will likely have these deep halves here. So in this case, that's when you would start running the underplay, okay? Because then the quarterback won't get as involved here, and you'll have a lot more space here to hit this down the sideline. If they're playing, again, let's put this guy in a deep half. If they're playing clouds out there, you should still be able to fit this in. Might be a little bit tighter. Again, just 2 adjustments, very, very simple. You're just gonna wait for him to clear the cloud over here. Well, it's not even that tight. It's pretty easy to throw. So cover 3 really doesn't have any sort of a chance, any sort of a shot. You can hit this drag route over here if you want. So that corner is going to preoccupy this drag. You're going to get free over here. You get a bad animation there, but if you get a good one, you can get at least 10 yards. The post you're never really going to hit. It's really there just to preoccupy the user. It also preoccupies that flat defender pretty well. As you saw there, it kind of forced them to jam him, whether he's in a cloud flat or a regular curl flat, unless he's in a hard flat. But in the hard flat case, you won't care because you'll have the corner route there, or perhaps the wheel route up the field. But yeah, that corner route is just there to hold the flat defender a little bit. Sorry, that post route, hold the flat defender a little bit, and to just preoccupy the user a little bit. Though, you know, it can be an option. So say if, you know, this guy, if you have a user over here and maybe he covers the drag all the way across the field, if he's really, really aggressive, say on a 3rd and short, 4th and short, you do have this as a final ditch option. You can throw that right there. And same thing against cover 4 drop show 2. Wheel this guy, Akins, put him on a vertical or a blocking assignment. Should be able to get free over here. Really, really nice. Or again, you know, if you don't want to throw that corner route, you also have the drag again over here. So a number of nice options after those shot plays. The last thing I want to talk about is the jet sweep. So this is, because you don't have stretch in this playbook, this is really going to be your way of hitting the run to the outside. It has a lot of potential, but a lot of things that kind of bog it down a little bit. So it's probably not something you can rely on too much, but it's definitely nice if you're not in a really tight situation at the end of the game. Just something to sprinkle in here and there, I think is really good as kind of a constraint to what they're doing. Again, you know, there's no adjustment, so you can quick hike these guys. Now, unfortunately, there's a tell. Like when you press hike, you know, the quarterback is going to do a little motion with his foot, and it's kind of a tell there. But there's some things we can do from there. The other bad thing is that I think it might just be an under center, but the defensive end to the side that you're running to, oftentimes he just gets unblocked, and then he can make a easy play in the backfield. So what I'll do is that while you get that motion before the handoff, I'm holding down on the left stick. So that way he can kind of, you know, take a little bit of a better angle around that defensive end, and then once he passes him, I can take that upfield. So just like this, we'll see if he even gets around. Yeah, so he's able to get through, but I was able to get around him, and then from there, you know, I can just, you know, take that upfield. So I can show you again, likely in this case, I think this is just one of those formations where he just gets outside. He got blocked late, kind of a bad pursuit from the cornerback. We were still able to get 10 yards. Against cover 3, I think the ends get blocked in this case. Yeah, just like this. If you have some abilities, you could probably make that guy miss, maybe. Now, ideally, you know, you'd be setting this so that you're running to the field, but just to be consistent with everything else, we're going to be running to the boundary. So you get a little bit less space here, but again, we want to be consistent and always have the potential for some of those shot plays that we were setting up. Against cover 2, blocking actually works out really, really nice, and then, you know, that third level safety is the one that has to make a play. Now, if you're going to run this, you do have to kind of run the fake zone play off of that, just to hold the user linebacker a little bit. Now, it's not a horrible play, it's not a great play, just something to pop in, just to you know, keep your motion, keep the user defender from over pursuing that jet. So just to keep him inside the box a little bit, and then we can outrun him to the edge with our jet sweep. So it's not great, but you know, it's an option. You can get a couple yards when you run it. The other thing you can do is the play action jet sweep off of it. So there's a number of bad things about this, but again, it's a constraint play off of that. So unfortunately, you can't do any hot routes because they would be really, really necessary here, because the play design is really weird, because all 3 of the routes go to the same space in the field. So the spacing is really quite poor. But the reason why you can actually run with it and get away with it is that against, and I showed this in my ace slot formation video, against, you know, these 3-4 formations where you have a flat defender on the edge here, unless they pass commit, he's going to get sucked up in the block, and you should be able to throw this wheel route with no flat defender here. So just like this, you get the play action, there's no flat defender, and you're able to throw this up the field for, you know, a few easy yards. You know, I can show you, I can go, you know, underneath here, hard flat from this guy. Again, if they don't pass commit, your guy is going to get open nicely down the field here. Really, really nice. So that's pretty much all I want to say here. It's mainly about that 4 verticals play. That's going to give you those nice shots against cover 3, against man coverage, even against cover 2. You have that PA wide drag wheel, which is really great against any type of zone coverage. And again, you know, under is nice little change up as your progression read type passing play. And the jet game is just really something to sprinkle in, because that jet sweep can be nice. It's just that the tell with it is kind of tough, and there's a few wonky blocking situations. But we can, you know, build in the halfback, you know, the fake zone off of it, and the play action play off of it, just as a further constraint to keep the user a little bit honest here. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.